Welcome back, everyone, to my Master Your Marketing Masterclass. And today in my hot seat, I have Leah Laprise, who is a life purpose and business coach. And today we're really going to tap into the energy behind your business, which I truly believe is the foundation to anything you do in life, especially business, and so important. So welcome, my dear Leah. How are you?
Thank you, Carrie. I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm awesome. It's Monday and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So tell us, my dear, how did you get into this journey? What brought you into the online world of business? And just kind of give us some background on you.
Oh my gosh, where do I start with all that? I'm actually going to tell you guys a little story. I was working in corporate for, I think it was 10 years, over 10 years. I worked in a really prestigious university in Canada, and I made my way up the ranks really, really fast, where I was organizing events for the president's office and for the president of the university. And I thought to myself, so I had children, and then I started thinking, like, is this all there is to life? Like, to work yourself up the ranks and just keep on going and have a white picket fence. I bought a house with my husband, had the cars, everything. It was like, perfect life. And people on the outside were like, wow, you got it made. Like, you figured it out. But deep down, I was really very, very sad. Like, there was something that was wrong. It's kind of like Katy Perry's music video or her new song, Chained to the Rhythm. I really felt like that. And so one day I went to the doctor's office and I said, maybe I can go on burnout leave or something. There's something wrong and I can't quite figure it out. And at the same time, I had a sideline business, which was a translation and communications agency. So I was busy. I had a full-time job, part-time business that was a family to look after and myself, right? So long story short, showed up in her office, cried my eyeballs out. And when I was done, she handed me the Kleenex box and she said, "Are you finished?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And she said, "You know what? I think you need Prozac. So take this Prozac. Here's a prescription. Take it for the next 2 months. Come back and see me and we'll see how you're doing." And in that moment, I knew there was something totally wrong. And long story short, like within the next week or so, like I asked the universe, like, send me the perfect person to get me out of this rut because I can't deal with this and I'm not taking medication. So I ended up bumping into a life coach. During our first session, I knew that there was something more to life than just, the white picket fence dream that I had created really for myself, or that society dictated on what makes us happy. And I realized that I love, love, love helping people. So I went back to like professional coaching school, personal professional coaching. I did all kinds of energy healing work, law of attraction type stuff. And one thing led to another. I left my full-time job. My translation and communications agency like just flourished without me even doing anything. And then I wanted to become a coach and teach people how to create what it is that you want with your life, really. And so I started attracting entrepreneurs. They're like, well, how do you do it? How come it seems so easy for you? And what is your secret? And that's where I am today.
I love
with
that.
You in Wisconsin. So yeah, that's my story.
I love it. Isn't it sad that we have to go to burnout to get our answers and solutions?
I know, right? It's like that's it's like well, I know for one, like I'll speak for myself, I was driven to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I used to take public transport in because I live in the suburbs, and I would look at everybody on the bus and I'd be like, how come everyone's happy doing this? Like, I'm not happy. This is not fun anymore. And I'm all about fun and enjoyment and ease and flow and pleasure and, just calling in what it is that you want and feeling good about it. That was not feeling good. So yeah, absolutely. Being pushed to burnout to rethink your priorities. And for some people, Carrie, it's illness. Like they'll wake up and they'll be like, you have cancer. What? Like, no.
Yes.
And then they juggle their priorities, or their spouse leaves them or, right? So
Right.
yeah, definitely.
I think when we realize that when we're just the core, it's just us in the journey, us and the co-creator, everything else around us gets to just be an accessory to the journey anyway. as long as you're staying hand in hand with the creator, you're good to go, and we can love that job for what it was. It taught us what it needed to, but it's not permanent. Nothing really is it? It's everything's kind of temporary, that we know that we're still walking in the light and walking in that alignment to who we are naturally. That's kind of how I see things. The rest is just kind of rotating around us and gets to either be there or leaves and teaches us something along the way. But as long as you're staying true to yourself, you're good to go. I think that's when the pain shows up, the cancer, the sickness, the stuff starts to fall apart, when you're not being aligned and true to yourself. From my experience, that's what I've noticed. It's like, time to get back on that path, girl. A little smack to the that's what happens.
And if you can listen to it, then great. If you don't, that's when
right,
things out of hand. Yeah,
I think it was Oprah that said God usually whispers to you, but sometimes you need like a brick upside the head, because you didn't hear the first whisper, then the scream and the yell. And with me, I'm so stubborn, and he has to pull the rug out from under me to get my attention. So sometimes that's how it happens, unfortunately. Yeah. So how does this apply in business, more or less, when you work with your clients? What are the patterns you're seeing when they come to you with needing help in their business? Kind of give us some feedback on that.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a great question. So there's so many different patterns. What it really boils down to is this, like, well, how can I put it? There's a lot of very successful business women, some men too, that come to me and they're like, you know what? I know I have potential for more, but there's something that is totally blocking me right now, and I can't quite figure it out. And what we normally do is we look at, their patterns, how they used to deal with success in the past. Maybe that was really great, but to move up or to shift themselves into the next level, they're kind of regressing back into like old childhood patterns. And it's coming across in everything that they're doing. So not only in their business, but also in their life. So let's say, for example, I'll give you, I don't know, an example off the top of my head. Someone I coached, actually at the very beginning, she was an amazing business person, had a multiple six-figure business, employees, and she was like ready to just, hand the key to one of her employees. She couldn't handle it anymore. Wow. She didn't want to be a leader anymore. She felt like she was being attacked all the time by her employees and her service providers and all that. But she was a genius. Like, she knew what she had to do, but she didn't want to manage. And so we like looked at all of her like insecurities and everything that was coming up from her past. And she had these like agreements that were just like blocking her, these emotional agreements where when she got past a certain level, she would just like freeze and stop and want to give everything up. And she knew that it was wrong. She's like, I have to get past this. I am hiring you to get past this. So we looked at, all of her like stuck emotions, where those were coming from. And we did a lot of deep inner work, because I really believe that that's like the true work right there. Because as business owners, and if you are watching, this series, like, you probably already have lots of business tools, but there's something that is like stopping you from moving forward. So those are the types of clients that I work with. Really, they're the ones that they're so smart at what they do, know exactly what they need to do, but just don't get it done because they're totally stuck in this like inner child type, regression, and they don't even realize it.
Right. They've created this glass ceiling that they can only go this far, and that's it. And they push it back down. Absolutely. And we can get, and those of us, because I've been coaching since 2005, I took it to the online world in 2013. And you do get stuck in a rut where you do the same things over and over and over again. And then you're like, why am I not getting any result? So that definition of insanity. But it's true, where anyone that's been in business over 5 years, we do really truly get almost like we're on autopilot. We forget why we love our business, and we're wondering why we're not getting to the next level. It's so much. So what kind of inner work, and I love the word inner work, for those that are watching and aren't sure, it's truly the healing, the pieces that are broken inside. I truly believe what's on the inside shows up on the outside. You can't hide it from us, not in your marketing, not in your sales, nothing. We can see and feel that. So it's so important to go inward before you go outward. And that's what Leah does, which is, again, that core foundation of your business. It's like the fundamental bricks of your business. So what inner blocks? Let's go through that because it's so much fun for me. Inner child stuff. So do you see money beliefs? Is it, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy? What's like the common one, so we can go inward a little bit on our own selves?
Absolutely. So, okay. So yes, you're right. A lot of them are, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not worthy to make more money. If I make more money, people won't love more. They already are not. So if I continue down this path, I'm just not lovable anymore. Like, these are not things that you normally say to yourself on a daily basis, but they're playing in your subconscious daily. And that's why, it leads to procrastination and stuff like that. So another huge one that I see is that, like, that burnt out syndrome. So if I take a vacation, or if I go offline for a little bit, then people will forget me. Or, I always saw my parents work really hard and they'll think I'm really lazy when I don't, or that kind of thing. Like that one is huge with the people that I work with. I can't, if I decide, this one is so big, Carrie, and I'm sure you've seen this before. If I decide on the lifestyle that I want and I get it, then that's like overly self-indulgent. And then I'm being selfish.
Yep.
Like,
you're triggering me right now.
Really?
I'm like, oh my God. It's a silly dance. I have a great entrepreneur friend who's super, successful in the oil industry. And we had a nice dinner here at Las Vegas Strip. And he said, well, how many hours a week do you work? And I thought, well, the whole point is to work less and be more in balance. But to him, his mindset was, you should be putting in 80 hours a week if you want a bigger result. I'm like, I'm more alignment, less hustle. I'm kind of a mix between both. I obviously believe in doing the work, but it was fighting with me. And I'm like, but I'm trying to get away from that crappy hustle pattern. I'm trying to like not break and fall apart over here. So I can't win. It seems like it's like, if I only have the 4-hour work week that everybody wants, that sounds like a spoiled brat. Who am I to be entitled to sit on my pedestal and have grapes fed to me?
But you deserve it, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
you Carrie, or you listener, like decide that that's what you want. I mean, like Carrie, you put this series together for people that just want more, and like, they deserve that.
Yes.
We all deserve that. So, for the people that are listening, like, this is really, really important. Like, you put this on, you brought together a whole bunch of speakers to talk about how easy it can be. And it can be easy as long as you allow it in and you give yourself permission. Like, you over having dinner with that person that wants to work 80 hours a week. I mean, that's their choice. Right. Your choice is to work, I don't know, 4 hours a day or 4 hours a week and eat grapes, like be fed grapes. Like, okay, like, that's what you want. So there's no reason that we need to feel guilty about it. And those are all it's all childhood programming that does not serve your growing business at all. Right.
And we've all got them. It's not that, there's some great learning behaviors we get from our parents, but there's a lot of bad ones too, and my dad did show me that, yes, you have to hustle. He was an entrepreneur as well. Hustle and work hard and do 3 jobs so mom doesn't have to work if possible. So that kind of, you just learn behavior as a child, and it's your belief, it's where they're born. But I'm with you on those days that are easy and everything flows and every invoice out there has been paid in full early. You're like, what did I do right?
Yeah.
I just went and got a massage. What did I do right?
Yeah, while everyone is stuck in traffic, right?
Right. You do feel a little bit. I think when I first left the corporate world for good, I had a guilty feeling to get a massage on a Monday afternoon, or go to the gym during the day when everyone's stuck in a board meeting somewhere. I had to shed those layers off of me of that corporate hustle, don't even go to the bathroom kind of mindset or whatever. So Yeah, thank goodness I let that all go. No guilt anymore.
So important.
No
Yeah.
guilt. No guilt. Well, I love that because there's also some, I like that we had just a smidgen of a glitch. I know what you said though. You're afraid they'll think you're a bitch if you're successful.
Yeah.
You somehow are now this self-righteous woman with her queen crown on, bow to me. But guess what, guys? Everyone gets to have it. There's no lack. You get to be that. If that's what you want, you get to have it. It's so silly that we think somehow, some way, the guilt shows up of, well, my sister's struggling, so I should struggle, or my friends aren't doing as well as I am. I don't want to be left out or feel like I'm up here and there's no one to play with. I want to stay down here where my friends live. It's just such a battle. It really is. It's so good. So Leah gets to look on the outside because most of us don't even know we're doing these patterns.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
how do you get a client to open up to you? I'm sure on the first couple calls or sessions, you start to peel back the layers. Do you do energy work? Tell us what's on the other side of that. How do we get
Mhm.
fixed?
How do you get well, it's a journey, really. You just know that it's time to get fixed, I guess you could say. And the way I do it really is, so I do focusing. I don't know if you know that, but it's like a
Mm,
psychotherapeutic practice that a psychotherapist created. I don't do psychotherapy, but I do focusing. And so what it is it's just like, finding the emotions, the blocked emotions in your body, because your body speaks a lot
mm,
more than you think, right? So let's say, for example, you're really angry and you have this like rage kind of, feeling in your body, or when you're sad, you get all choked up in your throat. Well, your body is speaking to you and it's telling you, you know what? I need you to look at this right now. And so what I do with my clients is we'll do some focusing work. And focusing just means that you are listening to the wisdom
mm,
of your body to figure out actually what is going on externally. So let's say, for example, you're procrastinating and then we do focusing. You can figure out what's going on. Like you can get answers like that. So I'm
mm,
procrastinating because, in a focusing session, because when I was little, I don't know, every time I would undertake a project, my mom would put me down or something like that. Things will come up
mm.
that you would never even know. It's kind of like, some people say, wow, it's like hypnotherapy, but it's not at all. Like the person is actually conscious and talking. They're just like listening to their
Yeah.
feelings. So that's one of the ways that I do it. And another way is just like holding a safe space for my clients that they can grow, because my biggest gift is that I can see past your potential, your current potential. Like I can see you in your biggest light and what you can accomplish. So when I hold that space for somebody, they just open up and it comes out.
Mm.
And then from there, I have a slew of exercises to help heal, and there's inner child work and all that stuff, if we even get to that. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's actually, some people say, oh, I need business strategy. I need business strategy. And then they come to me, they're like, yeah, I didn't need business strategy. I need you to tell me how to manifest what I want. But you
Right.
can't manifest what you really want when you're stuck in like this, like, ugh, I'm not good
Yes. Yep.
enough.
I've had so many clients like that. And you'll give them all the same strategy. And there's that one that it never ever works for. And you're like, okay, this works like magic. Why is it not working for this person? It's because they've already
Yeah.
told themselves it's not going to work, or whatever. You're fighting that inner battle. And you're trying to pull them along. And you're like, how is this sabotaged over and over and over again? And you can't learn that, outlearn it, I guess. You can't outskill
Yeah.
yourself from that stuff that's showing up on the inside, those inner voices. It'll always sabotage you. That subconscious will trip you up. It's like putting on the emergency brake and the gas pedal at the same time. You don't go anywhere, right?
Yeah, well, it's like that glass ceiling you were talking about, right?
Yep.
So I don't know who is it, Tony Robbins or somebody? Yeah, I think he talked about the thermostat and
Mm,
how we put our thermostat on and it's always at the same thing. So like, the balance, like it'll regulate what we might be like, better some days, worse some days. We'll always go back to what we know. And if what let's say, there's a lot of business owners won't go past I don't know, just even $10,000 in their business for the
Right.
year, or even 50K, because that's what they made when they were in corporate.
Ah,
They do that all the time
yeah.
because they can't make this shift that brings them past their internal thermostat. So definitely glass ceiling syndrome right there.
Yep. I definitely see that with income. You're like, what's going on? It's like a pattern. Like, oh, that's as much as you can make this month. Keep going. Nope, that's all you can make.
Yeah, and you're like banging your head on the wall. You're like, what's going on? Like, I'm doing all of what I have to do or not.
Yeah.
It's not working the way that I think. And then you see other successful people, and you're like, what are they like? We're all different. We all
Right.
come from different backgrounds. So it's important to do that internal work, because then it makes the external work way more easier.
Right. So
Yeah.
time to turn the thermostat up a little bit.
Yes, that's right. If you want
Boost
to,
it
right?
up. Absolutely. Everyone wants to make more money. No one's ever said, no, I'm good. We can all allocate it somewhere fun and exciting. It's always fun to give back too. It's so much fun. So much fun.
It
So
is.
let's talk about the body wisdom, because you triggered me on that one too, or just kind of tapped me. I
Mhm.
see a lot of that. I had energy work years ago before I started my business, and she would do it remotely. She's like, you have something wrong with your throat, Carrie. Please go get your throat checked. She's like, do you have thyroid problems? She was worried. And I'm like, yeah, my mom had thyroid issues. I'll get it checked out. Everything came back fine. Well, I wasn't speaking my truth. I hadn't started my business yet. I wasn't stepping into who I get to be. I wasn't an author yet, a public figure. And once I did that, obviously that throat chakra cleared up. She was so adamant that something like throat cancer, she was really going, because she saw so much blockage there. Our bodies tell us everything if we stop and listen. I love that you're talking about this. What if you can give us some, I love talking about this because I have a client that does this too. Poor girl, she tells me more stuff during our sessions than I do. No, it's all balanced. But just how our left hand is for receiving, our right hand is for letting go. Just the things that show up, like certain spots in your body, neck, back. What kind of areas of our body should we be looking for? Like where does anger live? That sort of thing. Kind of give us some insight if you have some.
Okay, that's a great question. So, you know what? I get this question often, and I don't know. I have no idea, because
Is it different for each person?
it is exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So where anger might show up for you, it might be in your chest area. I know for me, it shows up in my heart a lot. And when I was starting to do like body talk and focusing work, the practitioner was like, it shouldn't be showing up in your heart. Like, that's not where it's supposed to show up.
Oh,
Normally it will show up in your liver or wherever, you get like
wow.
pains, or, in your, just like stomach area, and like burning sensation and that kind of stuff. So it does show up differently for everyone. And this is why, because the underlying feeling. So let's say, for example, you talk about anger. Well, what's the feeling that's underneath that anger? Is it like anger and loneliness? Is it
Yeah.
anger and like frustration? Because for you, anger is different than it is for me. So I remember growing up, like my mom, whenever she'd get angry, she would start crying. And I was like, so if I, as a child, I'm like, okay, so when you get angry, you start crying, right? Like, so you learn through osmosis. And so for me, when I'm angry, it like shows up in my heart because I'm so sad. So it's really about like, where does the underlying feeling show up for you? And that is not surface level anymore. So yes, it is. I wish I could give you, a
Yeah.
whole look on, well, the left hand and this and that, but it's all different for everybody.
Right. That makes sense. Because anger, especially, is I call it like an emotion with a mask on. You've got to find out what's really
Yeah.
triggering it behind it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a copycat or substitute emotion of what's really happening underneath, for sure. I love that, and I think is it Lewis Hayes that has
Yes.
the body. Okay, like
Yeah.
when you could go and like do a little dictionary, like, okay,
Yeah.
my left ankle hurts. Why?
Yeah.
It's so strange. But it's so intriguing to me to figure out, like, oh, right before I do this always shows up, this symptom, where is this coming from? What's the emotion behind it? I love that stuff.
Actually, I want to add to that, okay? Because this
Okay.
is like super important. So when we do focusing, and again, if anger shows up, so, surface level anger, it might show up like, let's say here in your chest. I'm giving an example, right? So you might feel like a tightness in your chest,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a tightness in your throat. But what is going on there is like a survival mechanism.
Mm.
So it's like putting up a wall to hide the really vulnerable emotions that are behind that. And some of those, like when you do focusing, you go in and you see that they're actually not where you think they are.
Hmm.
So it's really like it puts up a wall because that's what you're used to doing. You're used to like, fighting or fleeing or whatever it is. But deep down, that's not really where they are.
Right.
So you're really like putting up a wall to hide or to mask those vulnerable, very vulnerable feelings of, say, like rejection, like feeling unloved, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fear is a big one too. That one's got
Yeah.
lots of faces.
Oh my God.
Where'd that one come from? No one's gonna die. Let's dig through it.
Yes, exactly.
It's good
Yeah.
stuff. It's good stuff. Well, I want to tap a little bit on this part too, because this is important, especially for those that are listening that have been doing great in their business, but they want to give themselves a raise. And even I get stuck in a pattern of charging the same amount. And every year I'm like, why haven't I raised my rates yet? It's like,
Yeah.
again, it's that worthiness. So, I'll be the vulnerable one here because I do get stuck. I'm like, this next call, I'm going to quote a different price and I'll go right back into the old one. And I'm just as guilty because I know it works. I've seen it paid in full a zillion times. I know it's safe, but
Mm-hmm.
reaching outside of that comfort zone and asking for the price that really feels more yummy and feels like a lot more in alignment and balance, I still pull back. So how do you help your clients with that? Give us some insight about enrolling higher ticket calls or clients and just kind of the energy around that. What's showing up and what am I doing wrong?
Okay, so I appreciate you for
I'm
putting it.
happy to be the guinea pig and be the bad guy here.
So essentially, it's really about believing that what you have to offer is worth, the price that you have in alignment.
Yes.
So let's say, for example, you're like journaling or however it is that you come up with your prices, and you're like, okay, well, today I accept that right now, this is how much, I don't know, let's say, so each client is $10,000 from now on, no more like 5,000, it's going to be 10,000. But if your physical self or your emotional self cannot keep up with that, then you'll actually be on the phone. You'll be like, it's $5,000, because you don't fully believe that investment for that person is worth that much. So again, it's an issue of value, feeling like, your services are worth that value. Another thing is, it's just, it's all about mindset and heart set and figuring out that, right before a call, like you do need to do your own warm up. So it's like, going into an aerobics class, which I haven't done in a really long time. Let's do yoga, let's say. So they're like, okay, everybody stand on your head. And you're like, where's the warm up? Like,
right.
So basically, like exercise, before you get on a sales call, it's really, really important that you warm up your mindset and that you write down affirmations and that you do, all the mindset work that goes behind it before. So like, let's say if you want to charge more, you're like, yeah, I am worth this much. And this is how much I charge. And this is the value that I have. And here's the evidence, and on and on and on, so that you really pump yourself up and you know that the person on the other end of the line is like, yeah, let's do this. And yes, it is worth $10,000 because you believe it is.
Right. That's so true. So true. And I tell my clients too, if you're not in your power when you say your prices, we can feel that. If you're stuttering or second guessing, they can feel that too. That energy, like, well, maybe am I going to get a discount or something? She doesn't seem like she's just making this up as she goes.
Yeah. So it's really about, exactly, like standing in your power, just knowing that it's worth every single penny of their investment and that you have evidence.
Right. Yeah. Warm up before the call. That's huge. That's huge. Because afterwards, I'm like, I just built a business from scratch, or like from start to finish. What the heck am I doing over here? You know, like I have the guilt and shame comes later. I charge too
Yes.
little. I charge too little. I'm doing so much work, you
Yeah.
know, so it's got to be a balance between, I know I'm worth it. I'm going to feel happier at the end. I'll be
Yeah.
even more happy to tackle this project because it's in balance and in alignment again with the value. So lots of
Exactly.
good stuff. And it is, I've had a friend of mine that raised her prices like 10 times easy.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to do a lot of inner work and just like take a day or two to herself to just feel into the new price. It's like a new pair of jeans. You got to break
Yes.
them in.
Exactly. I love that you say that. I love that you say that because, like you'll have, you'll be with your coach and they'll be like, yeah, charge this much. And they're
Right.
like, okay. But if it doesn't feel like good energetically, then it's going to come across wrong,
Right.
on
Right.
the call. So absolutely.
Yeah. I always say charge a happy price. Which price feels good, feels
Mhm.
light. That's when
Yeah.
you know it's okay. This is an alignment, value
Yeah.
versus, money, which is all energy anyway. So we give money way too much power. It's just energy, guys.
I know, right? Energy. But it's the energy that you bring behind it.
Right.
Right? So it's the energy that you bring when you're asking for the sale. It's the energy that you bring behind, like, your own value
Right.
on how much you charge too. So absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely is right. Even more so when people want to fight me or clients on pricing too. I'm like, you give your clients so much energy of your own. How
Mm-hmm.
many times are we thinking about them on a Sunday afternoon? I mean, they're renting space in our head all the time, way before you even get on their session or talk to them that week.
I love that, renting space. Yeah.
Yes, they get to pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm strategizing in my mind. This person needs to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to delegate it over
Yeah.
here. It's behind the scenes stuff. So it's good stuff. Very cool. Well, this has been very, very helpful. And I know our audience is going to get a lot of wealth of information too, to go inward and possibly even work with you, which is even better. But Leah does have a beautiful free offer for us. So go into that. What kind of gift do you have for our listeners today?
Yes. So thank you for allowing me to share it with your audience. So basically, it's I'm all about conscious planning. So don't just like plan based on what everybody else does or what everybody else says that you need to do. It's really important that you have an internal dialogue with yourself and then plan from there, so that your business is as authentic as you are, right? And is in alignment, like you say, Carrie. So it's my conscious annual plan, and it's not just a planner. It's really all about getting in alignment, understanding what's working, what's not working on a personal level as well, and what you want to see in like the next 12 months from now. So it's a 22-page PDF that you can download from my website. Do you want me to give the address?
We're going to have it all over this video.
Okay, cool.
Quick,
So
easy link.
yes, it's really pretty. You could print it out in
How
color if
fun.
you want, and take. What I like to do is tell people to take a weekend and to like for yourself, like have a VIP day with yourself, or a VIP weekend. Go somewhere like on a retreat with yourself. Take out the planner, work through it, and feel really, really good about what can come out of that. Because in doing that, you'll see, what's off, what's working, what's not, what can be rinsed and repeated again and again, so that you can just, make more money in your business doing all the stuff that you love too.
I love that. Conscious, got a conscious
annual plan.
Got it. So it's for the whole year. I love that.
Yeah.
Isn't it awful that we don't take those times for ourselves? We're like, weekend getaway to me. That sounds so yummy and delicious. I want to go right now. I've got nothing but hotels to choose from here in Vegas. I could do a staycation in a heartbeat. Get out of your environment and work on you. It doesn't have to be, the last thing on the list.
Yeah, it's not, the plan is not only about your business. It's really like there are questions in there that you will not want to answer.
Oh, everyone's downloading it.
Yeah, don't ask me that. Next. But you know that you need to answer them.
Right. Get honest with yourself. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Very good stuff. Well, that is super yummy. Can't wait to download that. Any final thoughts that you have for our listeners today, Miss Leah?
Yeah, just, it's all about knowing that you have like, this full potential stuff that you can do, but I know that like a lot of us are not reaching into it. And if you don't really understand why, well, maybe it's time that you do like some deep soul searching inner type work that is not always easy, but does become very fun, and it's good for like personal growth, which leads into professional growth. And I also want to thank you, Carrie, for providing this platform. And it's so awesome that you brought all these speakers together and that you guys are talking about real stuff, like
Yes.
real business stuff. So
Yes.
I really appreciate you and everything that you're doing to do that. And one more thing, if you're watching this, like, and you are getting all this free content, from this series, use it. Like, these are experts that are telling you, like, giving tips and stuff. Like, it's time to like take action and do it, right? Like,
Absolutely. We're giving you the behind
yeah,
the scenes secrets, guys.
absolutely. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. That was very sweet. I enjoy it, all of it, to be honest. So much fun connecting with other dynamic women like yourself. It's just your sister goddess tribe always gets to grow, and I love linking arms with yummy, delicious women. They're so much fun in their business. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, guys. We will see you on our next episode of Master Your Marketing. Big hugs, big love. Bye, guys.
Bye.